John here, and today we're going to talk about review the 1996 film Independence Day. And this is requested by Fadi. Thank you for the request. Now, I do have the film, but I think it's packed away along with 85% of my collection. It's all in boxes, so man, I don't know which one, which box it's in. But I did rewatch the film again, and yeah, this is definitely a great 90s blockbuster. It's a film that I've seen many times, and it was great to revisit the film again. But let's talk about the plot to this film. And basically the plot here, you have these mysterious and powerful alien ships. They launch out an invasion against the human race, and they start appearing all over the globe. Now the world's only hope lies with a determined band of survivors to fight back against this invasion as the 4th of July is approaching. And that's the plot in a nutshell. Now the film here is directed by Roland Emmerich, entertaining director. He directed Universal Soldier, which is a great movie. He directed Stargate with Kurt Russell, which is a film that I want to revisit again at some point. He also directed Godzilla from 1998, which I do like. I know a lot of people don't, especially the hardcore fans. But for me, it's fun escapism. Not perfect, but I do enjoy it. He also directed The Patriot with Mel Gibson. Great movie. The Day After Tomorrow, he also directed, which I've seen before, but I don't remember much about the film. Again, I've seen it, but it's been a long time. But the cast here, you got an excellent cast. We have Will Smith as Stephen Miller, Bill Pullman as the President, Jeff Goldblum as the character of David, Randy Quaid as the character of Russell Casey, and other supporting players here. Judd Hirsch as the father of David, Jeff Goldblum's character, Robert Loggia. This guy you've seen before. He was in Scarface. He was in the film Big with Tom Hanks. Harvey Fierstein. I think most people recognize him by the voice. He was the guy in Mrs. Doubtfire dressing up Robin Williams. Brent Spiner as the character of Dr. Oaken. He played Data in Star Trek The Next Generation. You have James Duvall, who would be in Donnie Darko, Vivica A. Fox, James Rebhorn, and I think unfortunately he's passed away, James Rebhorn. But the one film that I think I first saw him in was Blank Check, for people that remember, the 7 people that remember that film back in the day. He was in Meet the Parents. I remember he was in that too. Adam Baldwin, I don't know if I mentioned him or not, but yeah, here's a guy that you've seen, before in various movies. It seems like he's always playing the same character or some kind of villain or shady person. He was one of the villains in Next of Kin. He was in Predator 2 as a subordinate to Gary Busey. He's one of those that guy actors. Harry Connick Jr. is in here. Mary McDonnell as the First Lady. So again, you have a great ensemble here of really good actors. I mean, even today when you mention, and I know with Will Smith and the whole slap thing, before that I was a fan. Like Will Smith, back in the day, yeah, I mean, when he did this film and Men in Black and, I, Robot, even, I do like that movie, Enemy of the State, and so much more. Yeah, he did some great movies. And then I think for me, what happened a couple of years ago just really changed my perspective on him. I mean, he's still a big name, but I know he just did Bad Boys 4, but stuff that I've heard about it isn't too good. But even some of these names here, like Bill Pullman, I mean, people still know that actor, he's still working, he's still active. Jeff Goldblum, still active. Randy Quaid, say what you will, like, I know he's a bit of a nut, and I guess he's retired. He's not doing anything at all except for conventions, but I am a fan of Randy Quaid, and I believe the same year he did Kingpin, which is a good comedy, and Cousin Eddie. But again, overall, just a great cast of actors. But what I really enjoy about the film here, I mean, from the opening of the film, it gets right into the premise. Like, it just starts off immediately. There's a sense of urgency. There's a sense of panic as the Earth is being invaded. And, we're establishing characters here in the first 10 minutes. We got Will Smith, his character. We got Bill Pullman's character. Jeff Goldblum, his character. And I just love the pacing throughout the movie. I mean, the film is 2 hours and 25 minutes. But, rewatching it again, it didn't feel like it. Because it moved like that. And I really enjoyed the pacing of the film. And, like, right off the bat, we're right into the story. We're right into the characters. Characters are being established. Characters are being introduced. And every character is a personality. Like, every character has a personality. And even, before the first strike, there's a build-up of, these ships that are appearing all over the globe. And there's this widespread panic. And, you can really see the budget on the screen here. I mean, the film was a huge hit. I think it may have been the biggest hit of that year. I know it was in the top 5 or 10. It may have been the number one film of that year. If I'm wrong, I'm open to correction. But, and you have a little bit of a subplot with, Randy Quaid, his character, where he mentions about being abducted by aliens and being, touched sexually. And, I mean, I laugh at that. It's humor. And I do laugh at it a little bit. And, the visual effects, for me, still hold up well. And I can't believe this film is almost 30 years old. And by now, 2024, for me, I look at the visual effects here, they still hold up well. And you could tell there's quite a bit of model work here. And for me, I think it just, when they blow up the White House and when the aliens attack and there's a lot of destruction, again, it's very good visuals. To me, it still holds up. And I like the fact that, I mean, and again, I know, one thing that people say that about this film, oh, it's a guilty pleasure. I never saw it as a guilty pleasure. For me, this is escapism entertainment. If it's a guilty pleasure, then I'm guilty of enjoying it. I'm guilty of, finding it entertaining. And sure, I'm guilty. I love this movie. I've seen it many times. And it's one of those films that, for me, never gets old. The score to the film by David Arnold, I thought it was well composed. And I know that David Arnold is a collaborator with a director. And he's worked with them on, the same projects. But I really enjoyed the score here. And you got another, subplot between David Goldblum's character or Jeff Goldblum's character, I should say, and the Margaret Collin character, they were together at one point. That's one thing, maybe that's one little subplot that maybe wasn't really needed. It doesn't hurt the film, but it just kind of felt like, did you really need it? Again, the editing is great. I kind of mentioned that a little bit. I love the way it's edited. It moves very fast for a film that is over 2 hours. Man, for me, what this film has is all the right ingredients. And that's why, now when they try to do this type of film, the alien invasion genre, it just doesn't really work as well as it, like back in the day. This is 1996. For me, I think it worked more back then because it was fresh. If you try to pull that off today, just which they tried with the sequel, but for me, that was a piece of crap, and I'm putting it lightly. Like that film, that I saw it when it came out, and I don't remember anything about it. It just really felt like a regurgitation. Like it felt like it was a rehash of the first movie. And it was like, leftovers that are a week old, and you're just heating it up in the microwave. It's like you've seen this before. Just go watch the first movie. It has a better cast, better direction. The story, to me, was better. The first film was just miles better. It didn't need a sequel. It didn't need a sequel at all, and I think there's already talks of doing a part 3, which is not needed. But getting back to what I was saying, for me, this film had all the right ingredients, and I thought everything worked well, and the sci-fi elements of the film, and you get a little bit of comedy here and there, but it's not like where it's too much, or it's more about having fun. The film knows what it is. And Roland Emmerich, like I said, I do enjoy as a director. I've talked about, some of the films he directed. And I think for me, just a lot of stuff works here, where now, if you just try to do this type of film, it doesn't have the same impact, or it just wouldn't matter. Because I think, how can I put this? You could try to do it, but I think it's been done. There's not much more you can do with that type of film, the alien invasion genre, because I think it's already been done. There's not much more. You've seen plenty of films since where, how many times have you seen New York blow up, or Washington D.C. blow up? It's like now we've kind of seen that. We've seen that, many times, not just with alien invasion films, but how many times have we seen cities blow up in the Transformer movies, or Marvel movies, or DC movies? It's kind of, again, it's been done in some form or fashion. But, the alien creature, the special effects for the creatures in the film, I thought were well done. I do enjoy the speech from Bill Pullman. It's an inspiring speech, and Bill Pullman is one of the best movie presidents. I think he has to be up there. And I did enjoy the whole third act, where they're uploading the virus in the mothership, and then I know people can make fun of that. I enjoy it. And so I think that's it. I've covered quite a bit here with this review. But yeah, like I said, with the sequel, it doesn't need a sequel. This never needed a franchise. The second film, it's a throw. It was just a piece of crap that just didn't need to be made, and it just felt like regurgitation, like a regurgitated version of the first movie. And so we don't need a part 3, or if they're thinking about doing a part 3, they need to stop. But yeah, so I think I've covered quite a bit here. So let me get to my final thoughts on Independence Day. Overall, Independence Day delivers on a big cast, entertaining direction from Roland Emmerich, and it's one of the great 90s blockbusters. And out of 10, I'm going to give this film 9 out of 10. Great movie. But thank you for watching, and take care.